Check, check, check. What's up, everybody? How are we doing here today on this Monday before I figure out what is going on? And I don't know. Anyway, we're here. The new day for the Southside Boys. We got a game to play today against the Milwaukee Brewers, against the Miami Marlins. We played the Brewers. It didn't go so well, so let's not waste any time and let's get Deech and Justin in here. Let's start talking. Deech, what's up? How we doing?
What's up? Rough start to the baseball season, but I mean, alas, we're here to talk about it. So I'm
Here
ready
we are.
to
We never
spit
let
some
them down.
ideas around.
What's up, Justin? How you
What
feeling?
is going on, fellas?
Are you guys ready? We got some. We're back to losing.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't the greatest weekend in Milwaukee, but I mean there were some good things. I mean the Murakami Ding Fest, Bomb Fest that he had, 3 home runs, 3 days, but obviously still was not enough. I thought for sure after the 7 runs in 3 innings yesterday would be, but no. So Deech, how do you feel just overall about the weekend in general, not just the scores and not just the record? How do you feel about the first 3 games of the season?
Um, just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't make it pretty. So I can't. There's only so much you can do to spin this. Honestly, it was not a good weekend. I mean, if they could have pulled out yesterday's game, would have been feeling a lot better going into tonight, but that obviously didn't happen. So gut feeling is it's not good. I mean, you can try and find positives, but overall you can't spin it any other way. So
Well, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing for everybody all year is that there's no more of the this and that. It's like go out there and do it because yesterday was a perfect example of the games that we gave away and we spent this money on the bullpen and we're still having the same issues. But Justin, how do you feel? Do you feel this the same way? I know you always got some good stuff to say.
well, take however negative Deech feels and multiply it by however much you want. Is probably where I'm at. Because he's always going to have more of that optimist in him than when even he is speaking the way he is after a series. I mean, you were exactly right, Deech, when you said if they would have won yesterday, it really would have erased a lot of any bad feelings you had. Realistically, I mean, you're going up to they were Brewers in the NLCS last year, and the Sox have lost 100 games 3 years in a row. So you can't really even be mad about 1 out of 3. But then when you just shit your pants the way you did, and Tino, like you said, in the one area of the team where they really spent money was the bullpen, and the big guy who got the most money is the one who gives it up ultimately, which that's very disappointing. Really not much more to say than that. It would have, because it really would have bandaged a lot of the weekend because you had Colson was so bad the first 2 games. He hits the grand slam yesterday. He's got another RBI hit after that. Mune homers for the 3rd game in a row. Like you really would have been like, okay, whatever. It was horrible. Shane was bad on opening day, and the starting pitching as a whole left a lot to be desired. But you would have been like, okay, about what I could have hoped for. Now you're just like, oh my God, how long is it going to take them to win one?
well, and I don't know how late did it get. It was 7-2 for the longest time. Maybe 7-3. Like there was a comfortable
It was
lead.
bottom of the eighth.
Yeah.
They gave up 6 runs in the bottom of the eighth. I was watching it live yesterday. We were here.
That was really my issue.
Whoever they brought in the 7th inning yesterday was the problem. I don't know who he was, but he was some like rookie they brought in, and he just couldn't find the command. He couldn't find the zone. He walked the bases loaded. And then they brought in Dominguez, and I think that's where the problem is. It's like you bring him into his first start in a new team, or I guess second because he did come in on Saturday. But, and yeah, he should maybe have been able to get out of it, but I don't know. It's just one of those things, and it's those mental mistakes that they keep making.
So I mean, to kind of dive into it, obviously they went 0-3, got their belt to ass on Thursday, opening day.
Yeah, that was over by the second.
I did not really get an opportunity to watch Saturday's game at all, so I can't speak too much on it other than they lost, and some people seem to not be pleased with Burke's start.
That's the problem. I mean, luckily he got to almost like the 5th inning, but I don't know. He just is not, I think, what they were hoping for him to be. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem all year is like Shane, obviously we were hoping for Shane to do better, but him only going 1 2/3 now the bullpen is getting used, and the starters need to find a way to go 5-6 innings. These bullpen guys are not able to go and have to cover 5-6 innings. No bullpen really is. And
then yesterday obviously they shit the bed at the end. I guess out of these first 3 games, not that you can really sit and like point your finger at exactly what the biggest issue or thing that needs to be addressed pretty immediately here is, I'll go first. I would say limiting walks, especially late in games from the pitching side, needs to happen ASAP. You can't be giving guys free bases because, like we saw with the Brewers, if you give them opportunity, they will sit and take advantage of it. Where you may get away with it for some of the crappy teams, but the start of this year, the schedule is not the easiest either. I don't know what ranking it is compared to other teams, but
I think
they're not playing the easy teams to start right off here. Justin, did you have anything you could highlight as your biggest frustration?
Well, the Marlins are good, which is not the lineup is good at least. Because a lot of people are going to see that on the schedule this week, and if they're not as in March, it's finally tuned in with the rest of Major League Baseball, as they might be come toward the middle of the season. Biggest frustration, I mean, I don't between the starting pitching and the bullpen. When you're this early in the year, you gotta maybe not even just this early in the year. The starting pitching. No one getting 5 innings of work, and those are the top 3 of your rotation, is alarming. Frustrating. I saw, much like you, Deech, I couldn't watch Saturday. They stole 7 bases. Milwaukee did.
Yeah, Reese McGuire.
About the walks. You get guys on base, and then you can't throw them out. And so then a walk, a free pass becomes a double. It's aggravating. So a lot of it, I guess. The strikeouts at the plate too. My God, on Thursday at least, I'm sure that it wasn't as bad the rest of the weekend. I know that it wasn't.
Saturday was.
Everson Pereira. Where do we even begin here? He's been in the lineup every day.
Yesterday. That's all he did.
He kind of saved himself. That opening day performance has like really soured a lot of people towards him. Because his at-bats were like less competitive than Eloy and Robert back in the day when you could tell they just didn't give a shit. He was swinging at anything that was thrown at he did homer yesterday. I did see someone post that all of the balls he put in play were like over 100 miles per hour exit velocity. That's fine, but your power can't be like inconsistent the entire season, and yet we're just going to keep throwing you in the lineup and just hope, well, maybe this game he'll homer. It just doesn't cut it for me. I'm shocked he was in the lineup again today, but thinking about it, what other do you want to see? Derek Hill out there with Acuna playing shortstop?
Okay, wait, can we talk about that? Because you can just stop me if this is just old man yelling at cloud, that's fine. You have what you hope is a franchise cornerstone in Colston Montgomery. You are playing him out of position this evening to shore up at bats for both Luis Angel Acuna and what's his face in center field tonight. I just wanted to say that I feel very strongly about moving Montgomery out of his natural position. There's no reason why he shouldn't be playing shortstop every single day. Either of you agree with that or disagree with that?
I mean, I definitely agree with playing out of position. What position is he playing today? I was just trying to look for the lineup.
Shortstop.
He's at third base tonight, right?
Colson's at third because
Mooney's playing shortstop.
Mooney's DHing, so yes. Vargas is playing first, and Chase has the night off. So I don't know. It's a lot of moving pieces.
And he even made a comment about how he's going to take the first couple series
playing center
to figure out the best lineup. And it's like, okay, well, that's great, but what And yet, like as you said, why are we using Colson out of position? Here we go
Right.
again
The
with
best.
out of position player.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me because it's like, okay, then isn't Acuna supposed to be center? I thought that's what he was playing like the whole time. Like, but I guess he's like
Yeah.
a super
The
utility.
best lineup needs to have your premier guy playing his natural position, especially when he's a shortstop. Like that's the position. And I don't like him. Do you agree with this at all? I mean, it's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, when I saw the lineup, I did notice just the guys out of position is bothersome, I guess, this early into the season. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's their like forward thinking of they want Colson to get comfortable at third base because they see like Rock Chalowski is
Yeah,
going to be.
I had that thought. But that's way too forward thinking. That's like this kid's not
Yeah,
even in the organization yet. And I know whatever they have if in their mind he already is, he already is. And I get that. I hear that. But
I don't know if it's just the moving pieces though. With like Mooney DHing, I just you just start getting everyone out of position. And I don't. Did you happen to see the replay of when Chase? I think it was what Gary Sanchez. They tried to pick Chase off, and Sanchez like fell like 200. They said he's like 290 pounds just on top of Chase's back,
Yeah, it was
and
like the
like
first play of the game or something.
they did stop play, and Chase kind of had the medical trainer come out, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
he
he
like
literally,
somewhat
he,
dinged himself up there, but
yeah.
he was face
Well, I
planted like
get,
Robert
yeah.
or Eloy.
Him having the night off and Lenyn Sosa playing second base is not that don't really bother me that much. But and you're right about the third base, and then you get it's the ripple effect of Montgomery or whatever Mooney's DHing, so Vargas is playing first base, so someone has to play third. I guess it's Colson Montgomery, but that's a poor position to be in my opinion. Then if that's where you're moving a premier, who's supposed to be your one of the cornerstones is now just messing around fourth game of the year playing out of position. I know he played some there last year. I'm not.
did he play third base another game this year, or was it just the one?
I think it's just today. I said last year he played some.
Okay.
I know because they were doing the whole thing. They had Chase playing short. I thought it was dumb then. I think it's dumb now.
Yeah.
But
So,
that's a pretty irrelevant tangent. So I apologize.
but the man we were just talking about, Mooney, obviously is homered in his first 3 games. Now, I don't believe any of us had a prediction of over 30 home runs, if I remember correctly. Does him starting off as hot as he has alter, or do you think it'll even itself out and probably wind up being around that same prediction?
I mean, I feel like he could definitely hit 30. I think this is what he's going to do all season. And if he's doing it now in March, imagine when it gets hot in Chicago. So that's what I'm curious about. And I mean, maybe they'll figure him out, but I feel like he's the type of player to be able to. I don't know. It is only. I'm just trying not to get too excited because it is 3 games, but I don't know. It's fun to watch.
I do think it'll be up and down at the beginning of the year when it's cold in Chicago. Like maybe he goes and hits another 1 or 2 in the Marlins series this week, and everyone's like, "Oh, holy shit!" And then he gets home to Chicago this weekend. It's rainy, crappy weather, and it slides for a little bit back and forth in April. 30 sounds really attainable right now when he has
27 left.
More in his whole season. Yeah, I think. Yeah, if I had to say right now, sure, why not? I mean, it's a one thing going well, so why cast any negativity on it?
Yeah.
And I've actually been pleased just with him. Any of the at-bats I have watched of his, now this is, I guess, more of the cynical White Sox fan playing into the role here. I'm almost waiting for him to have poor discipline because of all the crap you read online when we signed him, how no other teams wanted him because they think he's just going to strike out a ridiculous amount and won't be able to handle. For the most part, his at-bats, he doesn't chase ridiculously by any means, and he seems to be pretty composed at the plate and generally put together solid at-bats, which I've been very pleased to see. It was something I did not necessarily expect because you really didn't know what you were going to get, especially with him playing in the World Baseball Classic. Spring training wise, he was apart from the team for a decent amount of it. So,
Well, I saw 4 walks. How many of those have been intentional, if any?
None.
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 Okay.
He's taken. And that's been the one thing because you guys know me. I watch every game like a psychopath, and I'm here and I don't leave. But I mean, that's been the one thing with him is his eye has been very good, where he's not swinging at pitches out of the zone like Robert Wood, or he's not doing the things that would get him in trouble. He's taking the pitches, he's taking the at bats, and he's taking the base when he needs to, and then he obviously hits the home runs. And that's been the biggest thing for me, where he's not. He has had a couple strikeouts, but one of them was looking. And then one of them, I think it was like up in the air, like it was up high. So other than that, though, I mean, I feel like his at bats have been really good, and that was kind of one of the one things I was worried about. But Justin, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what's going to happen in Chicago.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
we're all going to get our hopes up.
No one's pace up all year, but I do think it's good. Just naturally, big start here. Everyone gets excited. There's a lull. Oh, they figured him out. Whatever, whatever. I'll be jumping on here saying in mid-May about how they figured him out and he won't get back there. Then he'll have like 2 weeks in June or July where he hits like 10 homers in 2 weeks.
His numbers will even out.
That's when the 30 comes back into play. If you just put together, you have a run like that and you find him throughout the year. All of a sudden, though, yes, after 3 games, 30 sounds. Because when you think of that preseason, you're like the adjustment to major league pitching. Like you don't necessarily think he's going to front load this thing like that. So it's again can't talk down on it at any capacity or try to clip its wings because it's the one good thing that happened all weekend, or besides Colson yesterday. But
yeah. Well, and that was big for Colston was to be able like the first 2 games struggling and everything. And the one thing about Milwaukee is people do forget they were in the NLCS. I talked to a lot of Brewers fans this weekend, and there were like a lot of them that knew about that, and then some of them were like, "Wait, they were that far?" That I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "They're a good team." I'm like, I expected like them to like,
and they're
like,
always competitive.
Yeah, I saw Schrift getting dragged for saying like, "Oh, don't sleep on the Brewers this year." Like, yeah, dude. Obviously, like you just said, they're always competitive. Like we've last year alone, like it's pretty standard.
They have been very consistent. Is the word that hopefully we can get to eventually.
So before we move on from Mooney, I just wanted to say, and you guys can add to this, I am so fucking sick and tired of seeing any conversations about what are we going to get for him at the trade deadline.
I saw 3 of
if
them.
If the organization is serious about like getting into that part of the world where they're able to acquire or bring players over like that, which even if you're an owner, you're just looking at like could be a ton of money potential here. So there has to be some magnetism towards that, in my opinion. Why would you go and have him for a half a season and just flip him? Because it's going to piss him off. It's going to piss his agency off. And all of those players seem to be pretty tight-knit and talk to each other from over there. So I just think it would be a pathetic move and would set me off. And on top of that, I think people don't understand if there's not a guarantee that there will even be a season next year, what team is going to give you like a massive haul for a guy who they may just get for essentially the second half of the season? I just don't see even a return where you'd be like, okay, maybe I should consider this as opposed to keeping him. Do you have much to say, or have you seen it? Or
this is why I've moved away from like White Sox Twitter as a whole. I get just enough on my For You page I'm keeping informed and seeing real honest to God takes, but I'm not really seeing that garbage. Obviously, I know that it's been out there. I'm completely with you in the sense of it would just be so stupid because this is the one thing that makes them marketable, that brings you national attention. That's not, is this team going to set the record for losses 2 times in 3 years? Like there are people in the baseball world who are at least have their eyes on this, and that alone, everything you said is exactly right, true. But yeah, this is like the one thing they're doing right now. No need to talk about any return package for him or anything like that because just be dumb to trade him. That's very short-sighted thinking.
Again, we're 4 games in. Could we watch like a half a season like before? And I think we've been like engraved in that though. Sadly, as Sox fans, that's what we're like used to. Players are good, and then we trade them, and that's sad. We shouldn't have to be like that because we should be able to enjoy these players. I had somebody ask me like, "Do you have any Sox jerseys?" I was like, "No." It's like everybody they're gone. I was like,
Yeah.
they're just not. It's just like what It just I don't even want to buy one because how do I know these players aren't going to be here? So. But again, it is only 4 games or 3 games. Yeah, 3 games, and I mean, I feel
I
like
think because they went 0-3, it was just an onslaught of like, let's just be as negative as we possibly
of
fucking
course.
can
But
until they
yesterday, if
play
we win
tonight.
7-3, it's a completely different podcast and a completely different talk that we're having. And like Chuck and Ozzy are talking about something completely different. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously we can say that, but I mean, it's the truth. I mean, because winning 1 out of 3 in Milwaukee isn't the worst thing. And there's people that go there and get swept like we have, and we're not going to be the only team, I'm sure, because again, Brewers are good. So I'm worried. You mentioned it earlier with the Marlins. I don't know why I feel like the Marlins are going to be that team like Seattle a couple years ago that started off really, really hot and then go back down to earth.
Well, one of the reasons that they could do that is because they open with the Rockies and White Sox at home. That's exactly.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, I think the Marlins are 5-1 after this series. So, not to spoil my prediction, but yes,
Rob Manfred couldn't have scripted
mean-
the Marlins World Series any better himself.
yeah, there you go. It's all the way to start and build some confidence if you're Miami.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, you mentioned your predictions. I think we do get to the predictions though because the game does start in 10 minutes. So this will be an short episode today. So, is there
Yes.
things specific that you did want to talk about, Deej? I just noticed I have the pregame on. It said like 8 minutes. So I figured.
Yeah, I'll just kind of hammer through a few things. Justin did mention Coulson obviously hit the grand slam yesterday. Did not have the best at bats in the first 2 games of the season, at least from what I saw. I think he's still batting like close to 300 or 300. I mean, he has struck out some, I know, but
yeah.
Do we think he's like locked in, or is he going to struggle? Like, what are you looking for, I guess, in the next week or so out of him?
Just get it. Just hit on base.
Like a hit or two a night, minimally.
He's never going to be a guy who hits for average. Like, I'd be fine if we leave the Florida series and he hit another homer and had maybe a double one of the other nights, and then there's a hitless night. Again, this is just not who he's been pegged to be, and it's early in the season. I'm not saying that he can hit 240 forever, but
yeah, I'm
not like hit or 2 a night. Like it, I don't know. That's might be a lot to ask from the kid right now. I know I just had a whole thing earlier pegging about him, a cornerstone who shouldn't be playing out of position. But at this point in his career, even last year, it's not like he was hitting for a super high average. So
no, but the power's there. I mean, that grand slam definitely got a hold of him. It's not like it just barely made it out. So,
that's the thing.
Tino,
those guys. Oh yeah.
Do you have anything else to add about Coulson, or do you want me to keep going?
No, yeah, I mean that, like you guys said. I mean, you guys covered it all with him. I think he'll be fine. I think he just got to make contact and get on base. And I mean, don't try to hit home runs. That's the thing that bothers me most. Everybody's trying to go up there and hit home runs. Can we all just get on base, get a couple stolen bases, play small ball? Like it's not. I don't know. I know everybody wants to, but
I know one person on the team who likely will not listen to your request of stop swinging for the fences, and that is kind of going to get us into the next segment of the outfield. We've hammered Everson Pereira a little bit here, obviously, for some brutal at-bats, or at least on the internet, he's been dragged quite a bit. So out of the group of outfielders that are currently on the roster, what is your ideal 3 guys out there currently?
I would have to. I'm just making my lineup however I want.
Yeah. Just like the outfield. Like, how would you play? What 3 guys do you want out there?
Well, I want Acuna in center if the alternative is him playing shortstop. And may as well see what you got in him. I think it's low risk. I don't think you have enough guys. Austin Hayes in left, I suppose. I don't know. They obviously think that these other guys are worse than Pereira. I would like to see Austin Hayes in right and to tell Andrew Benintendi that he can still play left field because that's what they signed him and paid him to do. So actually, that would be my answer.
Tino?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean Benintendi's getting paid to play the field, but it's like after what he did on, I think it was Saturday, that's where it all went downhill on Saturday. Is he made the play? It was just not a good play in outfield. I don't know if he just can't play it anymore, but yeah, probably Acuna, Hayes in left, and then I don't even know who could play right. What about the one dude in AAA? I always say his name wrong. You guys mentioned him last week.
Braden Montgomery?
No, not Montgomery. The
Kelenic?
Jared Kelenic. Yeah, if I can pick guys who aren't on the roster, I'll go with that. That's the right answer. I would think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because where do we get Tristan Peters from? This guy, I thought he was like a created superstar.
He was, I think, either one of those like trades for we gave somebody a prospect or cash considerations and took them off their hands, I believe. Or I want to say it was one of those.
Sam dude play outfield too, or is he
Antonacci?
Yeah,
he came up, I think, as an infielder, but they've been having him out there in left field. I think at least two or three games that they've had so far in Charlotte. I know he's homered twice already.
Yeah. So that's presumably a trial run, right? Like,
I would think, they'll wait till service time isn't a thing, and
right.
I'd guess he'd be up, and you're kind of just seeing. Well, and what's weird is I don't know how long Brooks Baldwin will be out either, because then you add another guy to the mix where it could be two of these outfielders that are up now are not.
We're going to do what I
here.
hate when people do, which is spend a bunch of time complaining about guys who aren't going to be on the roster by May.
Yeah. My outfield, I guess, it's obviously Acuna and Hayes of some sort. Acuna would be in center no matter what. It's hard because I don't think Benintendi will ever build up enough value unless you're going to eat like all of his contract to hand him over to a team.
I'm not even coming at it from that angle with him. I'm more just like, you have to be the best of that group, right? He has to be the best of that group.
Yeah.
Right? I know that he's bad in the outfield, but
you just have such a logjam, I think, of guys that can DH where if you remove him from the outfield but still want his bat in the lineup, to waste the DH spot on him, it just makes it so much harder to navigate all the other positions throughout the season based off of like things that could arise. So
well said. I would like Lenyn Sosa's bat in the lineup more often, which won't happen if Benintendi is DHing.
Yeah.
I know
we're kind of at a rock and a hard place with that one.
Ideal is used very loosely here when you ask that.
So, but I guess before we get to our predictions, first off, and there probably won't be too much to add, when Yelich, before he pinch hit, when they were like, oh, Yelich is on the bench, you knew that like throughout the broadcast, Stone and Shriffen, I think, mentioned at least once or twice that Yelich would likely come off the bench late in the game. And when we loaded the bases and he pinch hit, I was just like, here's the implosion. I guess we're just so used to it that I wasn't overly bothered by it, but
I'm like numb to it. Everybody was laughing at me. I'm just like, well, what a surprise. I'm not shocked anymore.
I just wasn't about to like crash out over it on the internet. Like I saw a ton of, it's game 3 of the season. If you can't handle it, there are other teams that will be good every year. You could go support. I'm just saying. I kind of like the roller coaster that's been stuck at ground level for a while here.
I can't handle it anymore. Bears come back, or the Bears they just win like 6-7 in a row.
So before we get into predictions, the last thing I have is, because there's been people who have had criticism towards Will Venable after 3 games, and I'm not even counting last year, because from what you needed out of him last year, he got all of these core guys to kind of buy into this whole plan that they have and everything. So I don't include that, but after 3 games, can you really have that much of a critique of him? or do you just see it as it's too early to even really have an opinion?
Probably too early, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's too early, honestly. I mean, there were things that you could pick out, but I don't think they like opening day. Someone was bitching about the way that the defense was set up when the ball went over Mydra's head. And you're like, well, I don't think he expected Shane to only like be able to get through less than 2 innings. Like there were just a lot of moving pieces there and I don't think he expected every bullpen arm to go out there and just start walking fucking guys left and
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing, is it's hard to push the right buttons when there's not really a right button to push.
Yeah. Or striking out, what was it, a record 20 times?
20
I just
times,
need to highlight that. That was pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, there were a few really bad stats that broke from opening day. Yeah, the amount of walks they allowed, or runs they allowed, I should say. And yeah, and all of it started with a leadoff homer, and then they didn't do anything right after that.
Man, it was all going great.
So the first game tonight, I know it's Davis Martin versus Paddock. Chris Paddock. We got 3 games in Miami the next 3 days before the home opener against Toronto, which is another 3 at home. Predictions for the Miami series. Tino, you'll go first.
I'm going to say 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3? Which games of the 2 out of 3?
Hopefully today and Wednesday.
Okay. Justin?
They got to get something.
I'll say 1 out of 3. They start 0-5, but get the bounce back from Shane in his second start, because we just have to believe that at this point. Otherwise, it'll be a really long year.
Since I've been abnormally pessimistic during this episode so far, I'm going to say they miraculously sweep the Marlins. Martin, I think, is going to pitch well tonight. I'm expecting 5-6 innings out of him. Fedde, I think, just feels comfortable in a White Sox uniform. I don't know why. I'm hoping just that weird
analytics.
Yeah. And then I think Shane, I think some of them pulling him as early as they did was he did have a ton of pitches in that second inning.
Oh, definitely.
And it was just a mental thing. Like, just clean slate next start, just go out there and do what you know how to do. So I think he's going to duel it out with Alcantara or whatever because I think I don't know who the guy, Junk is the guy who's pitching tomorrow versus Fedde, but yeah, Wednesday will be a duel. I mean, Shane's got to bring it because you don't know what you're going to get out of Sandy, but he has the potential to cut through the lineup there. So,
yep,
I'll go 3 out of 3, and then the home series against Toronto, barring it's all played because there's a lot of rain, kind of, but you never know. Fingers crossed because Justin and I will be there. So.
Well, that's why they do leave the Friday open, but I guess if it rains Friday too, that doesn't help then.
Yeah. So we'll go Tino. What do you got for that series?
Well, I hope we can beat Dylan Cease on opening day, so I'm gonna say 1 out of 3 because I think that Cease is lined up to pitch opening day right now. I think they'll have I think they could have a same type of opening day like they did last year against the Angels. Hopefully. Oh yeah.
And Justin?
1 out of 3 against Toronto. They're going to have to win a series. They're going to have to win a game before I go out and say they're going to win a series. I know that we're going to watch Dylan Cease carve them up on Thursday, Deech. But yeah, Toronto's solid. They lost at least once against the A's over the weekend, but we'll see. Couple wins this week, and hey, at least you didn't get swept all 3 series to start the season.
So, yeah, that one I'll go. They'll win 1 game. Toronto just has the potential. I mean, they sometimes do play Toronto well at home.
Yeah.
But the bullpen needs to, really get their shit together before that series, or it will be just punishment left and right. What is interesting is I don't know if this is just a glitch on the MLB app or not. They no longer have Schaumburg listed as the starter at the home opener, and it's just TBD. So I don't know if that's a glitch or if something's going on there. But as I was looking just at the matchups, I did notice
Did
that.
they have him listed before? Because when I looked today, the Sox didn't even have a starter listed on there for Thursday. It was TBD against Cease. So for what it's worth.
Okay, then it might just be a glitch. That's why I wasn't sure
probably
either
is.
way. If they, I just know it.
Sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I noticed that it's like every like 3 days they have it, and then like the 4th or 5th day they like wait to like do it. Whoever does the apps, it seems like they only do 3 days in a row. Probably
Yeah,
'cause
I
the
just don't
season's
know
so
who the
long.
fuck they'd call up to. I mean, unless Jonathan Cannon is all of a sudden
Oh yeah, let's
figured
bring
it
him
out
back.
in Charlotte, but
No, the two guy the Schultz and Hagen pitched pretty well in their opening day starts for AAA. AAA team is I think 3 or 4-0 right now, so that's some positive.
yeah,
Right?
McDougal pitched too, and he had a good outing too. So we'll see how quickly one of these guys gets up. I don't know. The only thing with the pitching staff is there are guys knocking at the door. So if someone in the rotation by May is just completely getting lit up start after start, I don't think they're going to have much of a leash any further than May 1st,
Well,
in my opinion. So
you can't have an April like you've had the last 3 years. So, but Deech, the game is about to start, so we're gonna let the peoples go and watch the game, and hopefully we get a win. So, anything else you want to say before we go?
got to start winning games sometime. Let's make it this week. I don't want to come back here next week and
yeah, let's not do that. Somebody get that bobblehead for me. Bobby Jenks and AJ Brzezinski bobblehead this weekend, by the way, at the Blue Jays series. So that's gonna be a good giveaway. But guys, go follow Southside Boys. We'll be live for Monday Night Raw in an hour. Justin and Deech, I appreciate you guys as always joining us. It was a short episode. Game is about to start. So go watch the White Sox and Marlins, and we'll see you next Monday for another Southside Boys episode.